Welcome back, Therfers. I think the status quo of life is really starting to fatigue people, and maybe even, in my opinion, has gone beyond the fatigue towards despair, and it's nearing a breaking point. What am I talking about? It's kind of a black pill, but it has a speck of white pill in it. The world feels numb, colors don't feel as vibrant, songs you loved barely make you feel anything. You feel drained, nothing brings joy, certainly not the kind of joy you felt before. The nostalgia videos bring back a little spark that remind you of how you once felt, but you no longer reach that threshold anymore. No matter what you do, like trying to change your perspective on life, you just can't get out of the dull and muted world around you. It feels like you're stuck. And it's not your imagination. Whether it's malicious intent or not, the world is responsible for the numbness. And to be honest, I do think there are some malicious and bad intentions from what people call the elite or deep state, but I won't talk about that today. So walk with me here. You see every day the terrible news of new shootings, wars, corruption, death, sickness, etc. The government is seemingly no more intelligent or competent than a rock. You feel the pain in your heart and in your wallet. You can barely afford to get by. Macro and microeconomic levers are being pulled by people who don't care about you. Your meaningless job that you can't leave because the job market is terrible is draining and unfulfilling. People around you are so caught up in their own world that they forget to be kind and respectful. The politicians you elect never actually help you in any meaningful way. They just keep the status quo so they can continue getting rich. The system's broken, and people are tired of it and starting to notice. Social media only makes you feel worse. You know doom scrolling is negatively impacting you, but it gives you just enough dopamine to make you feel something in the numbness. You see, people your age with unimaginable wealth, and then you beat your own self up for not being at their level or even a fraction of that. So, yeah, you're not crazy, you're not imagining it, and I even dare to say you might not even be depressed. Instead, it's a result of seeing the truth, and it's full of despair. Things outside of your control, crushing you. And it's not like you haven't tried. I'm sure some of you have seen those YouTube videos, for example, of drop shipping or starting a niche business and thought about doing it yourself, or any various make quick money schemes online, but you quickly realize they're all clickbait, and you know it. Because how are you going to afford life, pay for bills and groceries, as you're supposedly going to invest quote unquote a few $1,000s to start a business? How are you realistically going to run this business from your 9 to 5 and scale it up? How are you going to take calls and answer emails and set appointments while you're working your main job? Yeah, it's a pipe dream. Because what those videos don't show you is the family support, the paid off mortgage, the savings they are living off of while they start their business, the trust fund, the equipment given to them for free from their grandparents. So, yeah, you're really stuck because the company you work for is dead end and the entire economy is overvalued with stock growth being propped up by the magnificent seven companies like Apple, Amazon, Tesla, and Google. Once again, you're not crazy, nor are you imagining it. You're just noticing. Noticing the truth. The status quo that we feel has been going on since at least about 2013, but certainly starting prior to 2008. But the thing is, as I picked 2013 because that's when we really started to feel it, and it's getting worse. You feel worse. You can feel the negative trajectory, and you're not alone. We've seen it when you're doom scrolling. The comparison of standard of living in previous time periods compared to now. Like the 50s, and the average house was only 4 times your average income. And now it fluctuates to over 10 times the average income. Or where a father in the 80s could have a house and car while the wife stayed home with the kids, all on his single income. We know life can be better, and that's why we feel the status quo dragging us down. Because it is. We just want to be at peace, not worrying about bills or an emergency medical expense making us homeless or the threat of war or civil war. I'd like to be able to walk around downtown, not have to worry about getting robbed, my car broken into, or seeing shoplifters running out of the store. So, with all of that, all of the sadness, all of the depression, all of the noticing, the truth. So, what are we to do? To be honest, I only have a few solutions. Because the game isn't fair. There are way too many factors outside of your control. So, with that in mind, I think we need to have a different outlook. We can't have the American dream anymore. That's dead, and you all know it. Only the boomers who bought their house for 4 raspberries and a nickel think the American dream is alive. Don't even get me started on the work harder, lazy young people. Because if they say that to you, you know they need to be in an elderly care home because they can't use critical thinking anymore. Or they're willfully ignorant. Either is not good. So I think we need to switch our focus from the American dream to something new. This something new in my mind is facing reality. If we know we can't grow and make more money, then we need to lower our standard of living and get creative. I genuinely think a solution we will see is groups of friends and family buying property together by pooling resources. This means multiple incomes, which decreases each individual's cost. I think we'll see more tiny homes and more family-based and friend-based communities. You know why? Because it's realistic. And it gets you out of that crappy apartment complex whose rent is way overvalued for the place and goes up every year. I think we'll see more self-sustainability, not because of desire, but because of necessity. And because of reality slapping them in the face. Sustainability like having your own chickens and garden to help reduce on grocery cost. Because grocery costs are so out of hand, it's insane. And by the way, gardening and chicken eggs, especially from your own backyard, is far tastier and healthier than the store stuff. If you've ever had eggs from neighbors that have chickens, you know it's so much richer in nutrients, and you can even see it just by the color of the yolk being darker. Anyways, we're going to see people move to states with less expenses, lower costs of living, lower taxes, less red tape like bogus zoning laws and permits. For example, one of these just random bogus zoning laws, right? Tell me why I can't have a shed in my backyard to store some tools. Oh, that's because of the green space and this special flower that's a rare Native American chipmunk eats or whatever. Like, bruh, miss me with that nonsense. They do that strategically so they can control the property value in an area. They don't actually care about nature. Anyways, to be honest, I think all of this might just be what we need as a country and people. People getting rid of the toxic social media and news. The news is all lies, designed to control you and make you fearful because that's the easiest method of controlling a large population. You know you should get rid of it. Think about how good you'll feel with less stress as a result of making these choices and having lower costs. You'll be around your friends and family more. You'll be able to spend more time outside as you know you should. Feel the sun on your face as you get excited about how good your garden's growing and how tasty all the fruit and vegetables are. You'll be healthier, not eating the processed poison from the store that we call food. Yeah, sounds idealistic, but it's certainly more realistic than day trading, drop shipping, winning the lottery, etc. Because to be honest, I think we feel this numbness partly because we're living in a way humans aren't meant to live. Our lives in modern society are pointless. Chasing after the next promotion for a company that doesn't care about you and that could drop you at any time. Getting caught up in the hype for the next iPhone release because you've been brainwashed by consumerism, like For real, wait 3 to 5 years for a new phone. And yeah, you don't need Gucci or Chanel or any name brand, you idiot. You're just a low impulse control mouth breather. You only care about that because of your ego. You want to show it off to your friends on social media just so you can feel a little bit important. It's silly and sad. Have some self worth that you get from inside yourself and not from praise of others. Go help someone and don't brag about it. Oh, just got done helping at the local soup kitchen. Hashtag community service. Like, bro, you self absorbed piece of shh. Stop bragging. Stop the selfishness. Stop the ego. Stop the consumerism. Stop the pointless pursuits. And here's an idea. Maybe focus on stuff that will actually fulfill you, like loving your family, your friends, and neighbors. Forgive them and move on. I know that's big for people. You'd rather hang on to that little anger because it kind of makes you feel good and justified, but you really need to move on if you want to have some peace. Focus on getting out of the rat race by being self reliant instead of trying to win in a game you know is rigged and corrupt. Win in the way you'll feel fulfilled. You know, there's a lot of peace that can be found by living a simpler life. And I think that's the white speck in this massive black pill here. I think a lot of us are so caught up in modern life that we need to humble ourselves and realize we don't need a new iPhone or car or whatever. We don't need that cool vacation post on Instagram. We don't need to put pressure on ourselves to look cool or ego jockey those around us. Did you guys catch that? We don't need, those aren't needs, those are wants. And those wants are placed on you by you. So start there. Go touch grass, exercise a little, take time to be alone with your thoughts, and work through those demons you don't want to face. And getting rid of those will help gain some peace back. And once that ball's rolling, I think a lot of those songs will get their spark back. Those colors will start to pop more, and maybe you'll realize there's more to life than materialism and worshiping yourself. Thank you if you stuck around for this video. I know it was a rant, but I think a lot of people needed to hear this. I'm sure you thought of people you know when listening to this. Maybe tell them what you've learned. And I appreciate those of you who stuck around and liked the video. Anyways, thank you for watching, and may the peace of the Lord be with you always, and I will see you in the next video.